Now, apparently, Gayle King had an interview with women's basketball legend Lisa Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, during this interview, Gayle King felt it was necessary. And I mean, this is a pretty tender subject because I see both sides of this as a wannabe feminist. I see both sides of this.
You in touch with your feminine side?
No, man, I'm just all for
like R&B?
I'm all for women's equality as much as possible.
All right.
And I might have hurt myself by saying as much as possible, but yes, it is as much as possible.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Nice.
with that being said, I understand this to be a very, very touchy subject, and I've already gotten into arguments for taking the wrong side of the subject.
There is no wrong. Well,
Yeah, there is. There really, really, really is. From the female perspective. Well, let me not say that. From the feminist activist perspective. And I could be wrong there. Khalifa, do you feel like you should join this conversation before we get into it?
Maybe I might.
All right. All right. Because, we're about to... Because there's going to be three dudes talking.
I just don't feel like this is a feminist issue.
That's because you don't see it.
No. I know what I see, and I'll tell you what I see.
All right.
I'll tell you what I see.
Okay, so let's talk about it, and specifically the instance in this interview that became an issue is where Gayle thought it was necessary to bring up Kobe Bryant's issues in terms of the settlement that was reached. And I have to be specific and I have to be clear and state facts in this situation because I think that's the most important part of it. This is a settled suit, a settled civil suit, not a criminal settlement or plea bargain in any way. So I believe that any discussion of this topic must be within the context of it being a settled civil suit.
With charges dropped.
Well, there's no criminal thing.
Exactly. There was no.
Absolutely, there's no criminal thing here at all. All right. So, Jason, did you see this interview? Or at least the portion? What do you think about it?
I saw about 5 or 6 minutes, so I didn't just see the 90-second clip that CBS posted. I did go on. I didn't see the entire hour or whatever length it was interview.
It's too long. Nobody's gonna watch all that.
5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, I think the media, for celebrities like Snoop Dogg to come out and be as blunt and ruthless in his word choices nationally, I don't think that was the right thing to do, and I think it was uncalled for. I think the rest of the media and the attention that it's been given has also, I think it's been way too much. I think I know this reaches back to the culture, and I just think that the culture just didn't give her time to explain, and I think I'm one of those people that kind of sees both sides as well, but I don't think it called for that sort of attention for the what was it called? She got like death threats. I didn't think none of that was called for.
Death threats are common, so
they are common.
Gayle King?
For anybody, it's common. If you say something nobody likes,
Gayle King got death threats.
Yeah. I just think
that's don't happen.
It is common, and I just think I think it was just uncalled for to do all of that. You want me to continue, or you just want to pick up from there and?
I have my thoughts on it, so
I got my thoughts too. I could continue. I'll continue. All right. So my thing is that I think the interview was just poorly put together. That 6-7 minutes, I think, was very poorly put together. I'm not a journalism professional, but I think that the questions leading up to when she asked about Kobe's court case was very focused on females and feminism. She kept asking about seeing him going to a lot of WNBA games, and it just sounded like she was leading up to something. And I'm looking at it for the first time. It's like it just seemed like she was like leading up to something. But I understand she's a journalist, so she has to ask the tough questions.
But there's no
now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Now, she asked the question, and then Lisa responded, and then she responds not with a question but a statement and says, "But Lisa, you wouldn't know this as his friend."
She pressed her.
Right. And by the way,
part
that part right there, I don't even agree with.
That part, I don't know.
Like, when your friends are jerks. There's no when you not that they're even friends like that, but jerks are just jerks. They don't. There's no secret jerk
She
inside
and Kobe
somebody.
were tight.
My thing is
they were tight.
Gayle King didn't address Lisa Leslie's full response to her question. She addressed the last line that Lisa Leslie said, which was, I never seen this side of Kobe, or I never knew Kobe to be this way, and that's the line that she addressed. And that was like you and me getting into an argument, and you want to attack one little thing that I said because you just don't want to agree with me because we're in a heated debate.
She even said she was in the club with Kobe, and Kobe was never the type of guy like, yo, I want that girl.
But not only was that she said that she was there with Kobe, she identified the direct method that players usually would use
to get a girl,
approach a woman.
Yo,
she didn't mean to do that, but she's basically what she said is, yeah, when I'm with these guys
go
and they
get
want
that
to
girl,
they'll send me over there with a number or something.
Go get that girl.
And Kobe never did that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's almost like Gayle King is trying to get somewhere that is completely unnecessary for you to get to. Like, where are you going? She's already debunked what you're trying to put out there more than once, and you continue to try to push it there about a man who is recently deceased and has so many people mourning. Why?
And then you compromise Lisa Leslie because she ends up in a position where she can slip and say something, and then now everybody's looking at her like she was the one. Well, she didn't say anything that was inappropriate. It was like, she said that's my friend, and it's not true.
But
right.
Yes.
But it easily could have been that way. We wouldn't be talking about Gayle with like Lisa Leslie threw Kobe under the bus.
Right.
It wasn't right.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Right. So, Khalifa, what do you think?
I like, especially what Jason was saying, like, I don't think that it was the right time for it. I thought it was kind of, it's a sensitive and kind of, anytime you talk about sexual abuse or any misconduct like that, people have their, they're either really like, yeah, they did it, or they're in between, or, they don't believe it. So I think even the facts, people know that he, the charges were dropped and he wasn't, convicted of anything like that. People in their mind, especially with the ongoing lawsuits between Harvey Weinstein, Cosby's, and all of that became kind of like a trigger for interviewers or anybody that happened to be in that situation. And I think Gayle just read that wrong, and I think she should have backed off. But I do think that the way our people are reacting to it, and especially like when you brought up Snoop Dogg and how he reacted, I didn't like that, because I feel like Gayle is an experienced journalist, and she's been in the game for a long time, and I think she knows that she's wrong. There's ways to kind of just say, look, we're disappointed in you. That wasn't the right time. You messed up. And I think she knows that. And hopefully, this doesn't hurt Gayle's career. I doubt it, but it wasn't the right time. And I didn't like listening to it because I didn't see the clip, but I heard the clip. I didn't like hearing it, but I do think that she knows that she's wrong. She probably is really remorseful, and hopefully she does better. And it's a sensitive time. People are hurt still. Like, it's only been 2 weeks and some change. So things like that, she should have probably done a lot better. And hopefully Lisa Leslie and all of them, didn't feel too uncomfortable. I mean, she did look kind of uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, she looked uncomfortable, and I think Lisa handled that very well. And, at the moment, I think she tried to back out of it and try to maneuver through it, and Gayle kind of put her foot down and was just like, I'm not letting go of what you just said. And I think that's where she went wrong, because as soon as Lisa answered that question, she should have moved on. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't good, but hopefully, everybody can kind of move past that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is the bottom line. It doesn't make a difference what you're with. You're feminist. I've heard all these arguments: male versus female, black people culture versus different cultures. It doesn't make a difference. Humanity is always the number one thing that you should be focused on. We sat there and watched an icon, which actually I didn't completely grasp the impact that Kobe had on culture until after he passed. Right? So we watched him die in a horrific helicopter accident with his daughter and her friends going to one of her games, and everybody's in mourning. Right? So what you're watching is like, man, this is like a big deal. This is not the time to ask that type of question. Gayle knows that, because if you were in Vanessa Bryant's shoes and her children, and you're sitting there watching Good Morning America, and you've got Gayle on there asking such a question,
right?
How would you feel? Right. And so he's not even buried yet. His body's been burned beyond recognition. They had to use his fingerprints to identify his body, and you don't get that concept. And so, yes, I don't even fault anybody for their reactions. Even like Snoop coming out. Snoop has always talked like that. This is nothing new. But we all react in different ways from a place of grief and sadness. Everybody's disappointed. How many times have you seen this many grown men, 6'5", 350-pound dudes crying on TV? You've never seen that. Guys don't even cry when they win championships. And so you see this going on, but Gayle still thinks that she can just sit there and ask a particular question like that.
I feel like Gayle and Oprah are on a mission to out men for these indiscretions, right? And I'm just looking at, the R. Kelly thing and the other things that Oprah has been involved with Michael Jackson. Like, why?
There's a track record there.
Like, why? This is not an accident that she did this. This was her opportunity to try to put Kobe on blast, and she went to take it. And here's why, to me, it's really bad. People make mistakes in life. They should be allowed to move on. That's number one. So, to me, the behavior of a abuser of women is not an isolated behavior. You don't wake up one day and just start abusing women
and then stop.
Right. Now, you could have a bad incident for sure. Two people in a room together. One person thinks this is happening, the other person thinks this is not happening, and things could definitely go wrong. Right? But I'm going to look at that person for that incident as, yeah, you did something really bad there, and you should pay for that. But I'm not going to ruin that individual's life or think that all of that individual. And this is what these activists try to do. Michael Vick shouldn't be able to work. Kobe shouldn't do this. This guy shouldn't do that. They made a mistake. They paid for it. He paid financially. He paid through his family. He made amends through his family. He did his apologies, whatever he had to do. He made a mistake, and he paid for it. And that's just one way of looking at it, because if you want to get technical, I don't know if there was a mistake, because there is nothing on record that said Kobe Bryant raped this individual.
And paying the girl is not an admission of guilt. It's just to make that go away. And with that being said, the problem is you're not in a position as a activist or feminist or whatever to levy the penalty that you think a person deserves.
Right, and that's exactly what they're doing.
You can't be satisfied. Right. You're not going to get to burn them at the stake, or they never work again, or they're like homeless on the street.
So this is per Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. I don't have the time to do additional research. This is Kobe Bryant's statement. On the same day that the criminal case was dismissed, Bryant issued the following statement through his attorney.
Civil case.
Yes.
Is that criminal?
Civil case. The criminal case, it originated with a criminal case. She, the victim, made a complaint to the police. Police arrested Kobe, and then the police end up dropping charges, or didn't have enough to pursue the charges anymore.
The girl didn't pursue the charge. She dropped him.
Okay. So this is his statement. First, I want to apologize directly to the young woman involved in the incident. I want to apologize to her for my behavior that night and for the consequences she has suffered in the past year. Although this year has been incredibly difficult for me personally, I can only imagine the pain she has had to endure. I also want to apologize to her parents and family members and to my family and friends and supporters and to the citizens of Eagle, Colorado. I also want to make it clear that I do not question the motives of this young woman. No money has been paid to this woman. She has agreed to this statement will not be used against me in a civil case. Although I truly believe this encounter between us was consensual, I recognize now that she did not and does not view this incident the same way I did. After months of reviewing discovery, listening to her attorney, and even her testimony in person, I now understand how she feels, but that she did not consent to this encounter. I issue this statement today fully aware that while one part of this case ends today, another remains. I understand that the civil case against me will go forward. That part of this case will be decided by and between the parties directly involved in the incident and will no longer be a financial or emotional drain on the citizens of the state of Colorado.
So after that, no more issues. Model citizen, a dad.
Apologize. How often do you see, and again, I got this from Wikipedia. I did not confirm.
He did. I remember that statement.
I did not confirm this.
I remember the statement.
But how often do you see the accused making a statement admitting where they were wrong, at the minimum?
But then their behavior after that,
and then their behavior
was
after
consistent.
That. And was consistent.
He had daughters. He was involved. And if you want to talk about, the feminist movement, like I thought his daughter was the next big thing.
Yeah,
he was okay with not having a son. He's like, my daughter's gonna be it.
Yeah, very.
He was all about his family. Sports. Never was in any trouble again. Always a stand-up gentleman. Always never. Even Gayle King said, "Oh, I met him. He's such a gracious and nice guy." And so that's why I didn't understand. Like, if anybody knows about grief and losing people and stuff like that, she knows. She knows that, and I didn't. The whole apology thing that she called herself doing the following day, I didn't even think that was a legitimate apology because all she said was CBS put the clip out there and took the whole thing out of context, as if we can all go and watch a 3-hour clip.
Why would you ask the question? The fact that you asked the question,
it, and you pressed,
right, and your apology wasn't even as good as Kobe's.
And journalism is supposed to teach us something new. That's what I thought. What could we possibly learn about did this affect Kobe's legacy?
Right, other than you actually trying to affect his legacy.
Exactly.
The first question, I think it was sounded a bit off the wall, but I and from a journalism standpoint, I'll just say I look over the first question because I have read a lot of other articles since Kobe Bryant's death that have mentioned, his cases in 2003, 2004. A lot of articles do highlight that. So I'm fine with
I'm
the
cool
first
with
question.
that. I agree.
I'm
first
just
question.
not okay with her pressing. And the icing on the cake for me was when she said, it is interesting how she directly right after the case question, she asked this question. It is interesting to me how deeply his death has affected so many different types of people. Why do you think people are so deeply affected in many cases by a man they did not know? I just thought the question was just a dumb question.
Right. As if she doesn't understand celebrity.
Michael Jackson.
She's Oprah's
Whitney
friend.
Houston.
She's Oprah's best friend.
Like, these people died. No one knows them. No one knows
speaking
them.
of Oprah, bless her heart.
What's going to happen if Oprah dies?
Well, exactly. And somebody talks about Oprah's history.
That was a dumb question.
The whole world going to stop for 3-4 days if anything happens to Oprah.
Right, especially something tragic.
Eazy-E. Like, there's plenty of people that have died that we do not know personally that we have mourned.
Right.
Yeah,
they can go on for days.
That was a dumb
Prince.
question. It just
you can go on for days.
It was a poorly put together interview.
And
in
I
my
don't even
opinion.
feel
those questions were.
She didn't even necessarily apologize to Vanessa and them. And then when Oprah comes on TV the next day, Oprah cries, but because Gayle now has to have security, she's been up all night. Nobody says nothing about Vanessa and the kids. Like, I don't understand.
Right.
Like, that's the humanity thing that I'm talking about.
Oprah actually mentioned Gayle?
Yes, the very she comes out, she's like, she tears up, she cries, and then she's like, oh, she's going through so much, and the things that people are saying to her.
That she's going through, because there is absolutely no reason for you to bring that up.
Didn't have to do it.
at this point.
Didn't have to do it. And then really didn't even apologize. She blamed
Right.
CBS. I'm going to have a stern conversation with CBS.
Yeah, we need to have a stern conversation with yo.
Don't go Snoop Dogg on him.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
But y'all leave Snoop alone because this is Snoop. Snoop
That
is a
is
gangster
Snoop.
rapper.
Right.
Yeah, that's
you think
true.
Tupac's going to come out and have an articulate conversation? If something happened to a friend of his, he's going to tell you about yourself.
I think they will have an articulate conversation. They're just gonna throw some curse words out there, and they're gonna talk how they talk.
Right.
It's not like they could. It might sound brash, but I mean that's how they speak. And if you just can't handle it,
He was mad.
Right.
He's very upset. So
like
Yeah.
anybody else, you get mad.
I feel like, I mean, I think even if he was mad, it's almost like Snoop has a way with words, right? He's a rapper.
He's a professional
He's a-
wordsmith,
yeah,
actually.
You know what I mean?
One,
He has-
two,
he has-
3 to the 4.
Yeah, so
Snoop
it's just
Doggy
like,
Dogg.
and I don't say he shouldn't be mad because obviously everybody has the right to be mad. It's just the way you address it. Like, I don't care if, like, it's just the way you speak to people, the way you speak to women in general, especially from a man, and how he came abrasive like that. I didn't like it, but I understood why he was mad.
I didn't like it either.
I just said he called
I don't
her a
agree
dog.
with. I wouldn't do it, but I'm telling
It
you,
is
like,
Snoop.
there's different styles for different people.
Yeah, for
Trump
sure.
says stuff people think it's cool. Some people think they don't think it's cool. But
Yeah.
Snoop is Snoop. This is the way
Yeah.
he talks. He'll come out on the stage and it'll be like it's mother whatever D-O-double-G. You know what? And everybody's like, yeah, but it's just him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
him. You're asking him to be a Rhodes Scholar. That's not his thing.
Yeah, I mean, but once again, Snoop got daughters. You know what I mean? Like, if he knows how to talk to somebody and get his point across, because there's a way to make somebody feel a way without calling them out their name and calling them a
I've never
B-word.
seen him do that. If you follow his Instagram, he does that at least once a month. He'll say something about somebody needs
Yeah,
to be
but
said.
it's like,
And he have his scarf on. It's usually late at
course.
night. He probably has
plays the
something to
part.
smoke.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's what you get.
he
No,
plays the
I
part.
get. Khalifa's right.
Yeah.
The B word is maybe a
I mean,
little
he
bit too
called
much.
he called the woman a dog face bitch. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's a
you
bit
know what I
much.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's, I mean, I feel
But isn't that the same thing?
yeah,
Like it's saying the same thing twice.
yeah, he did.
Right,
yeah.
but at the same time,
does that?
hold on. But at the same time, though,
Nah, that
if
was kind of disrespectful.
the average person does that with whatever social media that they're using, nobody cares.
That's true.
For
Yeah.
sure, and
Snoop
I
is
would
average,
probably
though.
feel the same way too
Yeah.
about them saying it. But Snoop Dogg has a platform, and that's what you get. You get.
But he
you
built
get
the
all-
platform on gangster rap and talking any kind of way. He's always done
for
that.
sure. But you grow. Like, I mean,
He's not
Snoop
growing.
Dogg
That's
is not-
him. This is an old dog you talking about. He's not.
like-
You're expecting things from him. I don't think he can give you. 'Cause
I don't know. I feel like he definitely can grow out of that. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he's
No,
not.
I
You
get
making
you.
it seem. You making it seem like he's a 19-year-old kid that
Right.
never changed. Like,
I'm
Snoop
gonna
Dogg
Did Rick
definitely
James
say-
change?
I'm gonna say that
No.
Khalifa is right. However, if you ever see how Snoop Dogg online, his online presence is,
That's it.
It's extremely really him. It's like
he's super
he's
vulgar.
really real. You know what I'm saying? Do rag, pajamas.
No, it's not a do-rag. It's a scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. That's
Rap. No,
That's
do
right,
rag.
with the knot in the front. Like
D-O double jizzle.
He not doing that.
That's what he does.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
T next door beauty shop.
We got to move on
do-rag.
though. Is there a last word on this, or did we cover it?
and I think he used the B word so much. I don't know if it has the same meaning for him that it has for us. He uses that like nothing.
Yeah. I see both sides because
I get it.
He does have experience in deleting certain words that he can't use at a particular moment, and he should understand his gravitas and the amount of
he
followers
was
that he
upset,
has
man.
and where
He
his
said,
comments
he
are.
said,
upset.
I'm about to call you one. I feel like
Yeah,
calling
like
you
he
one.
was
And then
there,
He said it.
and he said it. And like I said, I don't fault him for being mad.
was
'cause
upset.
everybody can be mad. It's just, sometimes you just gotta be.
But can you
And-
say him using those words actually
Now-
heightened it so everybody's like, whoa, and then it really makes everybody focus on what really happened?
I think we
For
also
sure.
I think we should also understand that Snoop, like our relationship with Kobe is our relationship with Kobe. Like it's just what we see on the
Right.
TV screen.
That was
Snoop's
his boy.
relationship- Yeah,
That's
that's
different.
his boy.
That was
That's a
his
little
boy.
different. That's a little bit more
It's not even that
family.
it's
his
his
brother.
boy.
It's
I
his
would
brother.
see
Yeah.
if I'm
His
a
brother.
lifelong Laker fan, that's
That's
not
his
going to
brother.
be. That's
It's
not going
it's
to.
be
It's
easy
not going to
either.
work.
And you're
But he's
courtside.
more than that.
He's more.
And he's
right.
Yeah.
Right. He
Yo,
is a lifetime.
Good job
Laker
tonight,
fan.
Kobe. You dropped
Plus,
60.
he's a celebrity, so he knows the guy.
Yeah, he knows it. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Why would you try to slander a man's character like that?
Yeah.
And it's totally unnecessary.
Were they in LA too?
Was who in
I
LA?
wonder if the interview was done in LA.
I feel like it was at a house, but I can't quote where it was specifically. But poor Lisa, man, I can't believe she put Lisa in that position because Lisa could have. Lisa, I gotta give the real MVP is Lisa Leslie because she did say one thing. She said, "If you had those questions to ask, you should have asked him while he was alive because he was here."
Right, and I feel like you're trying to get a woman to co-sign what you're trying to push.
Right, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And again, when I saw after Kobe died, I saw that narrative starting to pop up on Twitter from those more of the activist type of people, and it's always the same. You know what I'm saying? Michael Vick does something good. Oh, but he killed dogs. You know what I'm saying? Why?
Yeah,
it's over. It's all acknowledged. He has paid so dearly.
Went to jail
so dearly,
and he's doing community
Why
work.
can't he continue? Right? If we go back to some things that you did, we could stop your career.
That's true.
But guess what? Yours was in the dark because nobody knew who you were 25 years ago.
Nah, no idea.
So nobody cares about your mistakes.
I didn't know who Gayle was until she was hanging out with Oprah.
Right.
There are plenty other people. Let me start from here. I'm all for women activists who are trying to lift younger women out of the trenches because they've been involved in rape.
Yes.
They've been involved in molesting.
Yes.
I know them personally. I'm pretty sure we all know them personally. You know, they're in our families. They're close friends of ours. They're in the I don't want to say Caribbean or Islanders, but just people that are just not from this country. We go through that from
everybody does.
Exactly.
Everybody.
So what I'm saying is that there are so many people out there that you could have addressed. And I understand